evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am told somebody's like, Grace, the day I log in early is when you're getting late, and the day I am late is when you're starting early. I apologize. I was trying to sort out a few issues for tonight. So thank you very much for joining us. We are very, very excited that you have made it here for this very, 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 very important topic that we are having in celebration of Father's Day, in honoring the work that our fathers do, and the role of fathers in the children's lives. And thank you very much for joining us. My name is Grace Nzula. I'm an HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. Atara Solutions is a HR consulting firm. We offer what we call HR consultancy. If you're looking for somebody to do your job evaluations, organization restructuring, policy review and update, salary service, and all the other project-based needs in terms of performance management systems and all that, can get in touch with us. We also offer HR manager outsourced for organizations that are looking to outsource their HR department. We also are into learning and development, where this program you're in is placed in our organization. We can train your people. We offer end-to-end training solutions. We also run a mentorship program dubbed Growth Grid Mentorship Program. That is an exclusive once-a-year program that brings together HR professionals who are looking to transition into managerial position or strategic positions. That is what we do. We also offer coaching, team building, and all your other training needs. And then we also offer talent management, talent sourcing, where we help you in recruiting and selection of your staff members that you'd like to engage. So that is our product offering, and I hope that you trust us with your business. We look forward to engaging you further for us to offer the services to you or give you the solutions that we offer. You are tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We are here every Tuesday, and we've done this for, oh my God, Richard, today is actually the actual date of our first webinar. Oh, I had forgotten that, my God. We are officially, Kwanza Ebu, you send us emojis. We are officially 6 years old. Our very first webinar was on 23rd of June, 2020. Wow, how time flies. And we have carried on with this amazing program since then. And I hope that the sessions have been impactful to you and that they have impact, or rather they have made a difference in your career and your workplace journeys. And I hope that you continue to engage with us and pray for us so that we can continue with this noble journey that we have started to making sure that we are taking care of our workplaces. So allow me to recognize our partners. We have Mr. Herbert Zake. Herbert Zake runs an organization called Steadfast Quality Solutions. Steadfast Quality Solutions is an organization that supports organizations in recruiting for board members, in board evaluations, in training of board members, and they are located in Uganda. So if you're looking for HR services or public relations services, then Herbert Zake in his organization called Steadfast Quality Solutions. And then we have our other partner, K2 HR Services. K2 HR Services is our partner in Rwanda. If you're looking for HR solutions in Rwanda, then look no more than to K2 HR Services. So, and I want to take this honor to invite you to the second, I'm hoping to share screen. Excellent. So I hope you can look at your screen. The second Africa HR Summit is happening this year. This is a program that runs every 2 years. It's not an annual event. It is an event that happens every 2 years. And this year we happen to be hosted by Tanzania. And the Tanzania Association of Human Resource and Administration Professional Association. That's the Tanzania version of IHRM. And they will be hosting this event in partnership with the Africa Human Resource Confederation, which will be taking place on the 2nd, or rather on the 19th to 22nd of August in Mount Meru, Arusha. Arusha, for those of you who have wanted to have your passport stamped, is about 3 hours from Nairobi, or 3 to 3.5, depending on what you're driving. And they have a very beautiful road from Namanga. So that is me encouraging you to join this amazing conversation. There's an offer for IHRM members that is going for 65,000 shillings. So grab the offer as soon as possible, so that you can get to come experience. In the first one, we actually had 18 African countries represented. So you can only imagine how big this one is going to be. And it is right here on our doorstep in Arusha, which is like about an hour or an hour and a half from Namanga. So please make time to come and join us down in Arusha. It's going to be an amazing experience. Quite a number of things that have been organized, including a tour. On 22nd is a day for tour where we are going to Tarangire Park. On Wednesday to Friday, there are learning experiences. We get to interact with the rest of HR professionals across Africa. So this is a big deal. And I hope that you can join us at the 2nd Africa Human Resource Summit down in Arusha. And in preparation of that, we've been running a couple of webinars, and Atara Solutions has been honored to host them. And tomorrow from 6 o'clock, free, we shall be here on Zoom as well to get to hear from Mr. Mojid, who will be taking us through the HR emerging trends and issues in Africa. What are the things that are trending in Africa? What are the problems that we're experiencing as Africa from a HR point of view? That is the conversation that's going to be happening tomorrow on Zoom. And you get to hear from the Vice President of the Africa Human Resource Confederation, taking us through the challenge, or rather the issues and trends for HR professionals across Africa, so that you can also be able to position yourself. You know, most of you are looking to have strategic conversations. They don't start in any other way. You have to be in the room where people are discussing what's happening in our country and what are rather in our continent, so that you have a global perspective, so that when you speak in your meetings, people wonder whether you live in Kenya or where do you live, because you're able to articulate issues. So do join us tomorrow from 6 o'clock. That is 6 o'clock East African time for this amazing session with the on behalf of TRAPA and the Africa HR Confederation. Now, today, I am being told that, Grace, you know, you are having a very important conversation when another important thing is happening. So, and I'm not about to remind you what is happening currently, but just let us know, what are some of the expectations for tonight that you have as we get our speaker to join in? What are your expectations for today? And you can also, as you say that, we want to invite Richard to say hello and introduce himself.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this very wonderful and important discussion. My name is Richard J. Magoma. Richard J. Magoma is a trainer in public speaking, interview preparation, among many other services. I'm always very happy to be here on Tuesdays so that we can demystify business concept and professional concepts that will help you thrive, so that you can live a very unapologetic life. We will be here to listen to our good friend to tell us how to become confident, or what is the role of the father in our lives. Over to you, Grace.
Yeah, I was on mute and I had not realized. So yes, Richard, you can help me check, what are the people expecting today? And or maybe what we can also ask, what has been the impact of your father or father figure in your life?
As we wait for people to type, I can see Beji Ngaira has said, I remember during COVID, you still have our associations. That is, she's alluding to the fact that this particular program started on the 23rd of June. Yes, contribute. I lost my dad at a very young age, no father figure in my life. It feels lonely. That is Ngaira Beji. Who else? I can see somebody else just said something.
Sophia.
I am expecting to improve on working about my responsibilities as a father and more so to rectify where I go wrong.
All right. I think I see Bernard saying, my father is my hero and his guidance has kept me going. Looking forward to learn more on responsibility as an upcoming father. David says, raised with no both parents, very challenging. Charles says, being an effective father figure. Susan says, I lost my husband trying to help my 3 children to get over their father. Pole sana, Susan. That is a tough one. All right, so in the interest of time, allow us to just quickly move on. With us tonight is the gentleman who has sung the Boy Child song for a very long time. And I really admire the efforts he makes to make sure that families are staying balanced and everyone understands what their role is. I remember we had a men's hangout a while back, and some of the men who are my friends and they attended that conversation have improved as their fathers, like literally have become really good dads or intentional dads for that matter. And that is credit to you, Mr. Mbevi, for the amazing job that you are doing for the fathers and the men in this country. So Simon is the executive director at Transform Nations. I'm sure he needs no introduction. So in the interest of time, allow me to usher him in to take us through and celebrate fathers with us. Karibu sana, Simon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and apologies for coming in a little late. I always celebrate what you're doing in this place at Tara Solutions, and for helping people become better and manage others better. So anyway, I'm excited to be here. To all the fathers who are here, happy Father's Day. But let me not go ahead of myself. Again, I like this forum, and I think I need to be a more frequent participant, not just a guest. So let me just jump right into it because of time. Father's powerful influence and as unspoken hurt. That's what we're talking about. And here we're talking about us as fathers, those of you are fathers, our influence as well, and that we could hurt the next generation. But we're also all looking back to our fathers, whether they were there or not. That impacted us in one way or another. So every one of us has been fathered as long as we are here. But then the question is, what did that leave us at? Where did that leave us at? Is it positive or negative? How do we deal with it? That's briefly what we do, but you can check us out on all socials. But those are some of our programs. Man Enough, Intentional Dads and Moms. We also do Mothers of Sons. Happy Father's Day to everyone who qualifies here. And we celebrate the departed fathers. I celebrate my dad who died when I was 8 years old and really left a legacy. I mean, I was left really longing I was left father hungry, but he left a name that I have celebrated and that has shaped me in many ways. We celebrate those of you involved fathers, like Richie here and many others, that you are involved and you're engaged, and we celebrate your contribution. It not only blesses your children, but blesses the community, and then potential fathers as well. I like that statement there that I wrote. I believe a father's presence is really like the first prophecy to his children from him. Because when you're there and you're engaged, the children hear that the future is going to be okay. You have a defender, you have someone who speaks for you. I'm here to stay. It's going to be okay. And I think when my father died in an accident, I asked myself many questions. I was wondering whether I'll ever get to college, whether I'll ever get to high school, what's going to happen to me, and the future just looked bleak. And recently, I was dealing with a child whose father had left through divorce, and he was asking me hard questions, and he's only 9. He's asking, so now will my future be okay? I say, yeah, you also have your mom. But yeah, but my dad has gone, and he's just feeling destabilized. He doesn't know what hit him. And for me, it was my dad dying. This one is a father leaving home through divorce. But still, it was like, I don't know how the future is going to be. So that also begins as on the journey of the power of a father. This is what I call the manhood journey, of course, the developmental stages. There's one I left there by mistake, not by intention. No? But we begin as baby boys, and there we are dependent on others. We depend on others for everything. And I'm saying that because it's easy to carry some of these traits later into life. But I think you have met some not so old and not so young men. Of course, they are not part of this group, who depend on others for everything. They don't want to do anything for themselves. So they're behaving at that stage. And then you become a boy. You can do some things for yourself, and then others you have to be done for. But usually I say boys are very chaotic and curious. Chaotic and curious. Curious, they want to learn, they want to see, they want to know how life works. I remember one of the fathers who was telling me the son was so curious about who is talking in the TV, he broke it to see whether there's someone inside. That's too expensive, curiosity. For me, my son did something less serious, just pushed a chapati inside the DVD player. Those of you old enough, you remember the DVD player. So he pushed it inside, the entire thing got inside. So I had to come and try to remove it, but the DVD was broken. He's yet to pay for it. But when I asked him, what are you doing? He said, I was trying to see whether it can actually play like a DVD. Those are boys for you. And then you become a man, and you begin to bring order into life. I usually say HDC defines that stage in its basic form: honor, duty, and care. Honorable in terms of character, and then dutiful in terms of responsibility, and caring in terms of tenderness. And that begins to define you as a man, and then pretty soon you could become a husband. You acquire a title there, and then you acquire another title as a father, and you begin to raise up the next generation. But I really believe the highest title of a man is an elder. And an elder for me is someone who is taking care of problems he never created, raising people he never sired, taking care of community problems. Just like Kofi Annan came here and some other eminent persons after the post-election violence, and they helped us get together. And immediately, without him announcing himself, he acquired an elder status in Kenya. Matatu started having pictures of him on them. Because this is a person who has taken responsibility to deal with issues that did not concern him. So he acquired the title of an elder. I want to be an elder, Richie. I want to be an elder in many places. I would love in Ukambani, then in Kisii, and then in some areas to be called an elder because I solved some problems. I dealt with some issues that needed to be dealt with. And I believe that brings great honor. Father is one who has begotten a child, a male parent. That's a basic definition, which is just a function, giving seed. But then the verb is to accept or claim responsibility for, to care for. And I think that's where, that's where the rubber meets the road. It's when you have responsibility, you're responsible, you care for, and it's willful. You didn't have to be forced to take it. Like sometimes it's a court that tells us we must do this. But here you have taken up the responsibility and decided to do it. And let me clear my throat a bit. But also in many languages, like in Kamba, the word now is for father, which means source or foundation. And in many other languages, you'll find these things come up for dad: source, foundation, initiator, sustainer, progenitor, who is like a building block of a generation. Really pretty potent names that they give fathers there. I would have discussed, if we had time, the challenges of modern fatherhood. But let me move on and state a few things. Everyone has a father story, as I said. It could be pleasant or not. And when it's not, of course, it affects you in certain ways. When it is, it also affects you positively. But we all tend to have, we all have a father story. Sometimes we have processed it, sometimes we have not. But a study we did a few years ago showed 72% of the respondents, those who were surveyed, said they were under these three categories: either unfathered, without a dad that they can say they have a relationship with or they know, or underfathered, very little fatherhood. It's like dad visits home and then leaves. In fact, that same study showed us an average father in Nairobi spends only 9 minutes with their family a day. Then, maybe we just found the wrong kind of people who are too busy, but that's what it showed. And there were a few hundred respondents, about 9 minutes with their family a day. The same study showed a mother spends 32 minutes with their family a day. Still not adequate, but way better, almost 4 times more. So some say they are just underfathered. They see very little fatherhood. And then others were misfathered. They just said, we don't like dad. He's violent, he's abusive, he's this and the other. So those three categories carried 72% of the respondents. That means only a few, the minority, said that they think they have a good relationship with their dad. Today I was giving a talk somewhere amongst about 100 men, and asked them, how many of you would say you have had a good relationship with dad, that you really celebrate him? And I was surprised, out of 100, there were less than 10 hands that went up. Which is indicative of a bigger problem. But we're not here just to discuss a problem. So the observation is there's a huge father hunger around us. We do mentorship for boys in schools. And a few weeks ago, I was mentoring fourth graders. And after the meeting, this boy came to me and said, hey, by the way, teacher, can I be calling you daddy? And I said, why? So because I've not found anyone to call daddy. I don't know who my daddy is, and I'd really love to call someone like you my daddy. And of course I said yes. And he said, okay, thanks, daddy. And then he gave me a hug and took off. Generally, there's just that father hunger. I had it myself. My father died, and every time I saw someone like Richie with beards like this, I thought of my dad. Actually, I thought of my dad, especially if they are now shorter and stout. I thought of my dad, and I just wanted to get closer to them, to have a feeling that actually I'm okay, I'm close to my dad. So my music teacher played that role because he was short and stout and bearded. And I just decided now I love music because of him. And I became #1 in music. And he did what I thought he would do because I wanted to catch his attention. He called me to the front, celebrated me, and gave me a hug. And yeah, that sent me crying for 2 hours. Very, very, very touched by it because I felt like a reconnection with my daddy was not there. But there's that huge father hunger. Fatherhood has changed, of course, a lot. There's baby daddy, there's a stepdad, and sometimes we don't know what to call them because if there are 2 or 3 divorces, then now you have several stepdads, and it can get confusing. But it's a reality of the changes that have happened. The breakdown of a village. We used to have Baba Mdogo, Baba Mkubwa. So if your daddy wasn't there, there were other fathers. But that's no longer the case these days. Globalization and work patterns have also further removed the presence of dad at home. And generally, fathers tend to be less engaged with children as compared to mothers, just like the stat I shared with you showed. Here is a summary of the power of a father. before I talk about the functions, but giving identity. I mean, my name is Simon Bevy, but Bevy is my dad, and culturally, psychologically, it gives me identity. Between 9 and 16 years, some psychologists argue that as a child pulls itself from the mother, because they have been very close since birth, and slowly they have been parting or separating, then they need another voice, and that's the voice of a father if he's there, that affirms their identity and tells them, oh, you're this kind of a girl, or you're this kind of a boy. I usually ask this when I talk to ladies. Ladies, I ask them, how many of you were good friends? You were tight with your mother between 19 and 14? And usually the hands are very few. They were like, they were fighting a lot. And that's a psychological way of fathers, of children separating themselves from their mother. They begin to push away. And sometimes for the girls pushing away from their mother, it feels like antagonistic. Huh? And of course, if a daddy is there, then becomes the one who is making sure things don't go too far and affirms the girls. So there's that desire for girls and boys around that season to be affirmed in their identity, and number two, in their purpose. That's why you find when there are daddy issues, it affects a lot more identity and purpose than other things, generally. There are exceptions, of course, to every general rule. So affirms purpose and inspires confidence. Do you know that day the music teacher gave me a hug? He told me, you're a bright boy. I think one day you can become a lawyer. And the lawyer I became because he called it out. But there's something powerful about an older gentleman, like a father figure, telling you when you're a boy, this is what you can do, this is who you are. You feel like, breaking bonds to fulfill it. Fathers model masculinity at home and in the community. So when boys in a community begin to see the way their fathers behave, they want to do that one day. They want to do that one day. I'll never forget one that I was training somewhere in Mombasa, and then I asked one of the dads, I said this statement, and one of the dads stood up and said, let me tell you guys, the other day I asked my son, what would you like to do? What are you looking forward to doing when you grow up? And you know what the boy said? To smoke like you, Dad. And he made us laugh. And he said that's the day he stopped smoking. He realized he was modeling something to his son, and his son couldn't wait to grow up to do it. The other day, my daughter told me, hey, by the way, when you are in these trainings, find someone who is single and nice and good, because I want to get married. I'm 22 now. I want to start dating. So connect to me if you can. You'll meet a lot of good men. Then I said, what qualities are you looking for? And she told me a few of them. Then I said, where did you learn these qualities? And she had a big laugh. She said, but from you, Dad, I see these things in you. So I think a good man must look like you. We model masculinity, whether we know it or not. Daughters, our sons, and those around us are looking and saying, that's what I want. And in the community generally, a man gets to call out the man in a boy and affirm the woman in a girl. Again, that's what I was saying, between early teenage, preteen into teenage. The voice of a father is very powerful. When I talk to kids who have grown up like me in a home without a father, then you find it's around 9, 10 years that they begin to ask the question, either quietly or loudly. And so I always say to single moms, it's important to bring up the topic at that point, because whether you're talking about it or not, they're asking. And there are some that we mentor come to ask me and say, I can't even ask mom this because I think she'll be offended, or she will think that I don't care or I don't appreciate her. But they're asking within because it's a psychological time clock. Around that time. So a man gets to call out the man in the boy and also affirm the woman in a girl. Influences the way we initially see God. Those of you are religious. If your father was harsh, it's likely for you to cast that shadow on Almighty God because we call God Father as well. All right. So let's talk about the 5 Ps. What I call the 5-star general at home. Key roles of an effective dad. Now, I still respect Nelson Mandela. He's still one of my heroes. Huh? Yeah, so as I give you this story, just know I respect him highly. But then I remember when Nelson Mandela died, and I was watching TV because I wanted to follow the proceedings. I mean, he's bigger than life. Huh? And everybody was trying, every president, including Obama and Angela Merkel and everyone who was in power at that time, was trying to figure out how to cancel everything to make it for Nelson Mandela's funeral. And he was a hero of the world, not of Africa. And then I watched something on South African television. That means this guy must have been saying the truth. Otherwise, you don't say that in South African TV after Mandela died. So anyway, this guy was being interviewed. I think he's one of the sons of Nelson Mandela. And he was asked by the journalist, I'll never forget that moment. The entire world is, celebrating your dad. What do you say about that? And he said a statement that never left me. That was both sad and telling. He said, the whole world is celebrating their hero. I did not have a dad. They're celebrating their hero, let them do it. But I did not have a dad. And he went on ahead to say, even after Nelson Mandela came out of prison, he did not make any effort to reconnect with him, so he thought. And he said a few things, but he said, I still celebrate him as a hero of the world, but I don't as my father in that way. And of course, the interview was shorter than it should have been because of a statement. But I remember I took a pen, Richie, and I wrote this statement. That a true hero should not only be celebrated in the world, I think he should be made first at home and celebrated at home and then celebrated by the world. And I made a statement, I really wanted to be a hero in my house. And it's the hardest thing because there people know you at your best and at your worst. But if I can become a hero at home, then and I'm celebrated at home, then the rest of the world is just affirming who I am. Not to take away anything from Nelson Mandela, is just a story I wanted to tell you. All right, so 5 roles of a 5-star general at home. The greatest present a father can give to his children is his presence. I left a word or two there, but I believe it's the greatest present, your presence, because children will forget the iPhone, will forget the toys you buy them, but they'll never forget the memories you had. That's what I talk about at your funeral, the memories, not necessarily the gifts. But the memories, it's your presence. You were there, you had intentional family times with them. You work-life balance and integrate it to make sure that they were part of your life. You said no to some things to be there with them. They'll never forget that. Intentional connections and habits that you make, like doing games maybe once a month together, taking a walk together, having dates. I started having one-on-one dates with my children when they were less than a year, and we still do that now as young adults and teenagers. But I just wanted to create a habit that will force me to spend time with them. Because then it's easy to get too busy and not spend time with them. Also try and travel with one of the kids. Talk about work integration. I try once a year to travel with one of the kids in one of my 2 weeks work trips. And we get to connect because we are 2 of us. When they were younger, of course, we will spend the night in one hotel room. And just be together and spend a lot of time together. And that has brought memories that nothing else could have made. So create memories, be present and involved. Number 2, provider. A father is a provider. And this one we generally do well because it's the expectation of every society that the father is going to provide, of course, alongside the mother. So you know and meet the material and other needs. But sometimes as fathers, we miss out the other needs, which sometimes are more important. I was in one of the saddest days of my year this year, a few weeks ago, which was a funeral of a 12 or 13-year-old who died by suicide. And the father made some statements and said, if I had listen to the cry of my daughter, she would still be here, because she has been giving me hints the last 3 weeks that she needs help. And I was just too busy to see the hints. And he said even last night, she tried to talk to me, but I was too tired. And then we went to sleep. And in the morning, I'm waking up to her death in her bedroom. And he said, I should have listened. I should have opened my eyes a little more. That's tragic. I didn't mean to traumatize you. But for me, it just made me realize that some of the more real needs are not even material that we need to meet. They are psychological, emotional, and others. And we just need to open our eyes as fathers and see what other needs we can meet. But we need to give a skill and an education. Part of provision is setting up your children to provide for themselves in the future. So give them some skills, give them some education. I've tried to do that for my children where I know they have an education. The firstborn is a financial person, so she is an accountant right now in a school. But I've given her other skills. If that education never gave her a job, what is a skill that she can pick up tomorrow and make some money? Like, she's a photographer. I bought her a camera when she was pretty young, and she learned photography, and now she can do photography and shoot videos and make money. But also, she loves language, so I've sponsored her to learn different languages, so that's a skill she can use if there was no job because of her education. So my son is doing law, but he's also learning plumbing skills, so he can be a plumber and block a sink and get 2,000 quick and go and eat chips or support ourselves, so himself. Skill and education, setting up your children to provide for themselves in the future. So that's number 2, provider. Number 3 is protector. Moral protection, making sure you know who is hanging out with your children. What are they learning out there? Physical safety. One day, Richie, I watched in horror an entire family, mother and 3 children, who died in a fire in their house in one of the slums. But the father was away, so he comes back to family is gone. And then I asked myself, actually, if that fire had broken out in my house, have I taught my children how to deal with fire as they are protected? Have I given them the skills? We didn't even have a fire blanket at that point in our home. So I had to go and learn from Red Cross some things and then come and teach the family, buy a fire blanket and share a few things. Physical safety, basic, but sometimes we don't think about it. Social protection as well. And the biggest one is digital safety today. Digital safety. A few weeks ago, I was dealing with a boy, 10 years old, who was already a year into addiction to pornography. And the mother was saying, I can't believe this has happened in my home. So digital safety is a big one. How are we making sure that the phone and these games and other things are not completely destroying our children while we watch, while we are there, and sometimes while we model badly? So digital safety, so protector. Are you making sure that the perimeter is safe for your family as a father? And one day I remember talking to a woman who had had this trauma and hate for the father for many years. And you know what she told me, why she was carrying this pain for so long, is one day she was molested by the houseboy. The houseboy just touched her. It didn't go further than that, but touched her. And then she went and told the dad, and the dad did not do anything. Did not talk about it, did not bring it up, just kept quiet. And this woman felt betrayed and unprotected and unsafe in the world for like 30 years until we talked. Protection is important for a child. Number 4 is priest. Are you still with me? I'm trying to finish up quickly before time is up. But the other one is priest. Fathers are like priests. So number 1 is present, easiest, but the hardest at the same time. Number 2 is provider. Providing, but providing beyond just paying school fees. Then number 3 is protector. Number 4 is priest. You are like a teacher and a trainer on attitudes and character and values and modeling faith. You do that very well. I don't know, Richie, whether you have found this. In many funerals of grandmas and mothers, they say, oh, mom used to pray a lot, used to teach me this. Rarely do I hear people say, oh, grandpa used to pray a lot and take me to church and do this. And I think the story needs to be changed. Maybe they don't talk about it, or maybe it's not there. But I am trying to see that my children can say that they found me going to church or reading the Bible or teaching them values, values that they would say. I wrote a book recently about the 10 lessons I learned from my mother. She's now 93. It was a dedication to her. I said, let me write down what I'll say in my funeral, and then I read it for her to celebrate her life. I hope my children can be able to say, these are the 12 things I learned consistently from my father, and he modeled it. Then it can go to several generations, so that long after I'm gone, my influence is still going because of what I taught, the priest I was to my family, that you would be one who teaches values. Proverbs 22:6, those of you who are religious, says, train up a child in the way they should go, and they will not forget it. They will not forget it. Even when they walk away from it, there will be an internal parent inside of them saying, hearing the voice of a dad or mom telling them, don't do this. This will destroy you. Get away from this. Things like that. So priest. Number 5, and lastly, prophet. So prophets are cheering on with motivation, correcting and warning about the future if you take the wrong route, blessing with words and touch, pointing to the future, affirming, telling your children they are smart, they can do this. Not the kind of prophet some of us had growing up. Wewe bure kabisa, you are ugly, you can't do this. You know, those are negative prophecies that unfortunately we carry them very seriously. I remember talking to a 48-year-old lady. For context, I was with my wife and telling her, oh, you're very beautiful. I like your hair, after what we had talked. And then she looked at me and she said, actually, that's why I'm not married. Because when a man tells me, we are dating and tells me severally, continually that I'm beautiful, we part ways. I said, why? I said, I was 8 years old. I wore this nice little dress. In my mind, it was yellow and flowery because of where I come from. And she said, I wore it and I came to my daddy who was watching sports. And I said, Daddy, how do I look? And she said, Daddy said, get out of there. They're about to score. I said, but Daddy, how do I look? And Daddy said, you're ugly. Get out of there. She's 48. What she had, the prophecy she had from her dad when she was 8, is that she's ugly. She's now forgotten. It's messed up her dating life. Dads, you're powerful with your words. Take care of them. Let me finish with the daddy issues. Of course, if a father has not been present, you ask yourself questions, even when it's due to death, like how my father died just before we could eat lunch. And I began to feel abandoned. I mean, it's not like he chose to die. It was an accident, but I felt abandoned nevertheless. And for a long time, I felt alone. That no one was speaking for me. So it affects whatever the reason, whether it's marriage breakdown or work away from country for a while, it does affect children in many ways. Abusive dads, verbal, physical, emotional abuse, definitely. We don't need to say much about that. It's self-explanatory. Kids grow up with wounds. Passive dads, distant, disengaged or not engaged. I'll just give you one story there, then finish with the rest. I remember talking to a child, a young man who was in Form 1. And I was asked to talk to him because he was found with drugs, marijuana on his desk. And he had been sent home. He was a good boy before that. Sent home. Then he came back out of suspension, and I was taught to talk to him. So I went to him, I said, man, even if you're smoking these things, you don't leave them on your desk, you hide them inside the desk. What were you thinking? He said, no, I wanted to be sent home. I said, what do you mean, sent home? Yeah, because my daddy is not involved in my life. He's there, but he never asked me about school. He never asked how I formed. Only mom does. So I said, let me do something really stupid to get dad's attention to see whether he really cares about me. I said, did you succeed? He said, no. He said, I actually went home with a letter and I timed when my dad wasn't there, gave it to my dad when my mom was away. And he looked at it and he looked at me and looked at it and said, wait until your mother comes. Huh? She will deal with you. And when the mother came, he gave a letter to her and said, deal with your stupid boy. That boy told me he now lives as if the father is dead. He assumes the father is dead, so that there are no expectations. Passive dads can psychologically torture their children because they're wondering what's wrong. Don't I matter to my dad? Is he even my dad? Why is he not bothered? Trophy dads, conditional love. If you're number one, you belong to me. If you're not number one, you're not my child. Conditional, performance-oriented love can destroy children for the future, so that they always live for performance, not just to be appreciated as human beings. And then that's behaving badly, of course. If you catch your father lying down, peeing on himself because of this and the other, like one of my friends, he would always feel so ashamed because the father would come there in the school and chase goats and and dogs and hens and chicken, and you fall down, and he was drunk, and the children will always feel so sad about themselves. They'll go and hide in the classes. That's behaving badly, can hurt children. What do we do with this? The pain that we carry. Did you know that up to almost 60% of all counseling cases have a father wound relation? That's not me, it's statistics. So what do, we acknowledge the hurt, we let go and forgive, because you don't want someone who is long dead or long gone to still control your life long after the fact. You let go, you forgive. Is it not Nelson Mandela or one of those guys, or Martin Luther King Jr., who said the best revenge you can give to your enemy is to forgive them, because you deny them the chance to control you. So forgive, let it go. Reconcile where possible, because a father-daughter, father-son relationship is important. So where possible, reconcile. Even within breakdown of marriage, like separation of marriage, we still say if it's possible, let the dad or the mom, whoever is not living with the kids, still have a way of relating with the children. Then fill the gap. We need community of mentors. As men who are here, mentoring boys, so that boys around us don't grow with these gaps inside like I did. And that's why I started doing what I'm doing. I'm passionately pushing for us to mentor 1 million boys by the year 2030. Of course, not alone, with schools and colleges and institutions. That will be great. Then we'll have reduced this father hunger and the impact that it brings. All right, what is the takeaway? What are you taking out of our conversation today? And we're saying, yeah, as we celebrate fathers and say Happy Father's Day, let's appreciate and support fathers, because they give a big contribution to society. Let's forgive and find healing and reconciliation where possible. And men who are here, let's try our best to be 5P fathers. We're present, we're providing to the degree that we can, no pressure. We're protecting, we're priests and teaching values and modeling them and faith, and we're prophets. We're saying the right thing and guiding our families and into a better tomorrow. And then all of us, let's work together, guys. Mothers, daughters, men, corporates. Let's all work together to prepare boys to be better men tomorrow, so that one day Kenya will be more fathered than only 28%. There'll be a lot more fathers involved and engaged. I think it was Uhuru or Ruto as well, who said 30% of Kenyan homes go to bed without fathers present at home. I hope we can reduce that and get a lot more fathers engaged and involved and giving their contribution. I think I've shot my time, but if there are any questions, if there's any time I could take, but I've written 2 booklets I would like to ask you in case you want. Just let Atara know. and we can make it available. Dad is Destiny. And I wrote that some years ago, and it's really about the impact of fathers, negative and positive, and how we can deal with it. And then 5 Commitments of a Real Man would be a good read as well. Thank you, guys.
It's always a pleasure. And for the men in the room, if you have not read Dad is Destiny, for the ladies in the room, if you have not read Dad is Destiny, you really need to start with that one, and then you can flow with the others. And for the men, the 5 Commitments of Real Men. You really want to interact with that book, so that you can actually have reference as you continue in your journey to becoming a better father, and a father figure to the community as well, so that you can contribute to the 1 million. I am looking forward. In fact, when I sent out this one, Simon, somebody said, can't you partner with Simon and have a conference on parenting? Made it something that Atara should definitely cook together with Transform Nations, and we see whether we can bring this home. But let me see whether there are any questions. I'm seeing quite a number of emojis. Please appreciate Mbevi for an amazing job that he has done. Where were we? Yeah, here we are. The hangover father is real. I lost my dad in 2015 and it feels like yesterday. Winning outside and losing inside, being a hero to the world, but not in his home, he loses it. Nabi Hana Jeshoma Kwao. Okay, I have no idea what that means. But yes, I see somebody who says, I have liked number 4 so much, a father as a house priest, and it's my prayer to model a priestly love to my family. Then there's a lot of congratulations and everything. Hello, the voice of a father is very powerful and impactful. The five keys are very, very key. Okay, I can see. Thank you for the guidance, 5 Ps. I am a mother of boys and would wish to guide them to be great dads. I'm blessed, both insightful. I wanted to do something remarkable for my dad this year. I have taken a few tips on what to do for my dad. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, I think most of them are comments. Richard, do you have anything for Simon?
Simon, how are you? Thank you very much. I can see people are appreciating the insights and the very thought-provocative points. And one of my questions that probably most people could be asking, the dad or the father does not come with a manual. Yes, we have several sources of being a dad, but it doesn't come with a very accurate manual, because there are several presentations on who a dad should be. How should you help them?
No, that's a good one. And we get to learn. I mean, even when we do the program, we do intentional dads, you've still not learned everything. Someone is asking about fathering Gen Zs, and they have their own complications. Huh? And one of the topics I like, and it's true, I think, Atara, we should join up together and do a conference and talk about digital parenting and all of these other things. Huh? But I would say 2 things, Richie. Number one, I would say, let's learn from each other. I might be sitting here and I hear you say something you do with your children and say, wow, that works. Let me pick that up. We need to learn from each other. You become a student all the time. But then number 2, we need to learn from the children. Several times I sit with my children and ask them, what am I doing right? What am I not doing right? What is it that you feel I'm not doing well? And of course, their knowledge is limited, or some things they will say and I'll dismiss them. But I will ask, why would they say that? And I would learn from it. I think you can get a lot of feedback from your own children. Like when I ask teenagers and preteens, what is one thing I should tell your parents? Almost everywhere, they always tell me, tell them to listen and understand us. And now I've learned to do that a lot more, not to assume I know what my child needs, even though I know the principles, but listen to them and hear not only what they're saying, but what they are not saying. And the children can teach you a lot how to parent them better, because even them, they want to be parented. They'll resist sometimes, but they also have an opinion. So maybe those are the two things I would say.
Very good. And the other question is, the dads are seen to be very tough, and that toughness or discipline creates distance. And probably that is why dads are not appreciated in certain moments, probably until they go. How can the children appreciate their dads more?
Well, part of it is us learning correction is not punishment. Huh? I think our parents sometimes they did correction was like almost like killing a snake. Huh? Some of our parents, when they told you I can kill you, you actually believed it, huh? Because of the way they dealt with us. Huh? But when we realize correction is different, the focus is a child, not you. I think some of the times we correct our children, we discipline them out of our anger. That's why we say correction, never do it when you're angry. Cool off and then do it because it's about the child, not about you. So I think if we can understand that aspect, I can be tough but very friendly because it's not about threatening you, it's about correcting you. And I'm doing it, it's tough love. But it's clear that I love you. I'm not doing it because I'm angry, I'm doing it because it's good for you. Then the results are different eventually. But also, I mean, it's easy to look like the bad cop. But when there's a relationship, then the correction doesn't destroy it. In fact, many times it enhances it. During this Father's Day, my children were appreciating me, and two of them, they said, "Dad, thank you very much for correcting us." Sometimes we don't like it, but it's because we know you love us. So I'm happy that they said it, that they appreciate it. So I think to say, let's do it in the right way, but also let's realize, besides just being friends with the children, we are their parents. So you've got to be firm. Whether they like you or not, one day they'll be happy that you are firm. I think we have gone into this very permissive parenting that everything the child wants, they get it. The other day, I went to a high school and I could hardly talk to the kids. Everybody is talking, and the principal is introducing me, and they are talking when he's talking. I said, I can't do this. So when I got the mic, and I'm sort of soft-spoken, as you can tell, I just say it with my soft voice. If you guys don't want to listen, you should walk out. So that I remain with those who want to listen. I came from far to talk to you, not to compete with you in talking. And so I kept quiet and said, I give you 2 minutes. If you want to walk out, walk out. Those who want to listen, listen. And nobody walked out. So I said, okay, if I see you talking and you didn't walk out, I'll ask the principal to escort you away so that I can remain with those who want to hear. Do you know I talked for 40 minutes without anyone talking? And the principal was asking me, how did you achieve that? I said, well, you just need to be firm. There's a difference between permissive parenting and assertive parenting. That we are friends, but I'm going to make sure that you realize the authority I have is not against you, it's for you. So I'll apply it. And I was trying to apply it as a mentor there. So I think we need to be firm, whether they like it or not, because that's how we prepare them for the future, and they'll not terrorize everyone in the nation. But we still need to create a relationship as well.
Over to you, Grace.
Thank you. We have a couple of questions. Maybe we can take the shortest answer, Simon. There's somebody who's saying, please talk about social media. Is it prudent to post your family on social media?
Anybody will tell you it's not, and depends on what you're doing. But if it's a general celebration, they're not too young. But generally, a lot of people talk about social media safety discouraging.
Right. And Naomi says, how can I move on from a wound my father created in me for being violent? 20 years later, I remember that and I'm always in tears. What do I do?
Talk with someone about it. I think it's always good to have a counseling session. I mean, I had to do a counseling session, even though I'm a counselor, about my father to have a closure. It helps someone else just to help you process it so that the pain can be dealt with.
Right.
But
Speak to
make sure you forgive as well. Yes.
Yeah, I think that one needs a bit of therapy to unpack the pain and everything. Speak to mothers who have to father young adults and Gen Zs in future.
Mm. So I
I was
would
about
say,
to answer that a bit, but yeah, go ahead.
I would say you are mothering them because they need the services of a mother, and your contributions are slightly different from that of a father. If we have time, I'll explain more. But be the best mother you can be. I would say, especially when they get to 9 to 16, they need to identify with the man. It's important you get them a mentor, an uncle, a friend, or someone else. And that's why we are doing this in schools, because sometimes the children just need, I mean, I was there as a father to my children, but I still expose them to other mentors that would contribute. So I would say make sure you get someone who could be like a father figure who can play the role that you may not be able to play as well.
Grace, something has come up. Unless there's another question, I'm going to speak to some men about wellness. What is generally men wellness? What does it constitute? I'm sure you've encountered this. What does it mean? For example, we are told that a man will be grounded completely. That's the time he realizes that he should go. Because we need a well-functioning father. What is wellness?
Wellness is, of course, you're taking care of yourself physically, so physical wellness. But number two, emotionally, you're taking care of yourself. You can deal with your emotions, name your emotions, and deal with them. And dealing with them means vulnerability. I think one of the things we struggle most with as men is vulnerability. It feels like exposure or weakness, but that's part of how you become well. You have emotions for a reason because you're human, but then you don't stuff them in. You talk through them and process them. The other one is mental wellness, is that you're not allowing negative attitudes to keep attacking you and feeling like it's over, things will never work. You're dealing with your attitudes and with your thoughts, and you're able to bring them to a healthy place. And lastly is social wellness, which is never walk alone. Never walk alone, even if you Arsenal, never walk alone, Liverpool. I had to put it in there. But make sure you're connected with other men. People can support you. The number one factor of wellness is friendships, that you're not alone. You have people you can rely on and talk to and get support from family, friends, and other people. Just never walk alone. I think generally that's all-rounded wellness, and that you're dealing with the problems in your life. You're not letting them lie. If it's marriage problem or financial problem, face it. Don't allow it to continue to stress you by just running into the man cave and staying there forever. Man caves are good for processing, but we don't we don't live there. We visit there to process and come out and continue with life.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I had thought about a question, or is it an answer I had? Maybe just to echo what Simon had said about a mother playing the role of a father. You can't. You can become the best version of a mother that you can ever be, and that is one thing that you can do. And what I wanted to add on is you can check on our YouTube channel. There's a session we did about mother wounds, and Simon there explains the different roles of what a mother does and the impact you have on your children. So if you can check that out, I'm sure it will help you get enlightened on what else. Simon, maybe you can give us your parting shot.
But in short, remember that relationships are the substance of life. Really, the end of your life is going to be about your relationships. That's what people talk about in every tribute. It's about the relationships and how well you lived. Fatherhood, motherhood are some of the most basic relationships. So give them your best, because the quality of your relationships determine the quality of your life.
Certainly, certainly. Simon, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Always a pleasure to really learn from you. And I hope that the session was impactful for you guys. For those who are joining us for the first time, please go to join our WhatsApp group. So that you can get to know what's happening. Next week, we're discussing communication for HR professionals. You will have that. We have some amazing lineup of speakers coming up in the next sessions. So we look forward to hosting you as we fight the cold in Nairobi. For those in Nairobi, Kampala, good evening. I have seen a few Ugandans on the call. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you for also making it the time. I know some people are like, Grace, please share the recording because I'm busy watching the World Cup. So for the 148 people who joined us, we really appreciate. Thank you so much for making the time. And I hope that in your institutions and in your areas of influence, you can preach the gospel of the 5 Ps for your people. So thank you very much for being here. And please follow us on Instagram at Ara Solutions, like our Facebook page at Ara Solutions, connect with us on LinkedIn at Ara Solutions, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. That is where we are going to upload this recording. If you want to learn more about the parenting, I think we've hosted Simon like 3 times. So please go to our YouTube channel. There's a lot of content there, and especially the recent one we did for mothers, or the unspoken heart of a mother, or rather mother wound. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that will be there. So thank you very much, guys, for being here, and I hope that this session has made a difference for you. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place, as we tackle yet another issue that affects employers and employees. See you then. Have a lovely night.
Good night.